Don't forget folks, before we go any further, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the bell and all that jibber jabber, and thank you very much for supporting Invincible Asia. 90s martial arts cinema fans can rejoice as nostalgia comes charging at them tenfold with some stunning new 4K restorations courtesy of Eureka Video in the UK and Vinegar Syndrome in North America for China O'Brien 1 and 2. Seen by many in the West as Cynthia Rothrock's breakthrough film, the China O'Brien movies may have missed the mark during their release at the start of the 1990s, but they have proven to be favourites for many martial arts movie fans over the last 3 decades. While this would have been a great project for Jackie Chan, albeit without the efforts of its original director, it's fair to say that China O'Brien 1 and 2 did well enough on their own merits, which quickly drove them to become cult classics all over the world. The films were shot back to back over a 6-week period, with the first film going on to gain a UK release long before it did in North America, gaining the number 2 spot on the UK video charts, just below Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. Although some claim that Cindy's agency turned down Golden Harvest Studios' offer of making parts 3 and 4, others state that her contract naturally ended, with both of these films and Lady Reporter unfortunately being her last. While she would begin to shift her focus to her American productions, Cindy would return to Hong Kong for a few final independent pieces, such as the very underrated City Cops, aka Beyond the Law, the enjoyable Prince of the Sun, and Godfrey Ho projects like Honor and Glory, Undefeatable, and Manhattan Chase with her Raging Thunder co-star Lorraine Avedon. In the first film, Kung Fu Queen Cynthia Rothrock stars as the titular character, a policewoman who returns to her hometown from life in the city after mistakenly killing a teenage kid in an attempt to save a friend. Hoping for some peace to comfort her remorse, China soon finds that trouble isn't too far away after her sheriff father is killed by some local gangsters, forcing her to take on the role much to her surprise. Joining forces with her high school sweetheart and a fast-kicking Native American local, the trio bring back the law and set out to put a stop to the criminals in a bid to stop her town from going to hell. While she had already been entertaining and impressing action film fans for a good 5 years already in films such as the incredible Yes Madam, Millionaire's Express, Magic Crystal, Righting Wrongs, No Retreat No Surrender 2, The Inspector Wears Skirts, and the aforementioned Lady Reporter, also known as Above the Law 2 and Blonde Fury, Cynthia Rothrock was set to make a splash in her homeland with China O'Brien, backed by the very popular Golden Harvest Studios and executive producer Raymond Chow. This was going to be the film that made her a household name across the United States, the film that highlighted her as the queen of action cinema, and the film that everyone would be talking about. But unfortunately, it didn't. Once again, Golden Harvest called in the services of late Oscar-nominated director Robert Klaus, along with father and daughter producers Fred and Sandra Weintraub. Still hanging on to the success from directing Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon and Game of Death, Klaus seemed to be the go-to guy for Raymond Chow when it came to promoting his stars in the West. While the aforementioned films of Bruce Lee, especially Enter the Dragon, proved to be a phenomenal success, Jackie Chan's Battle Creek Brawl was a different story altogether and failed to excite audiences or make its star as big a name.
There's lots more.
Take it down.
Although Klaus still had mild success with other martial arts adventures such as Black Belt Jones, Golden Needles, Force 5, and Jim Kata, for example, it was clear that he just couldn't recreate the same magic as Enter the Dragon, and once again failed to deliver a strong enough project that would thrust Cindy to A-list status. With a mediocre script, uncomplicated plot lines, and poor antagonists, China O'Brien was a step back from what Rothrock had already delivered during her 5 years in Hong Kong. But perhaps even more confusing was the fact that Raymond Chow allowed Klaus and Weintraub to repeat the same mistakes that they did with Jackie Chan's Battle Creek Brawl. From its dull, small-town setting to its non-threatening old men gangsters, Robert Klaus, once again, demanded that his stunt and fight coordinators would provide the action, turning down the energy and skills of countless Hong Kong choreographers who would have been available under the Golden Harvest banner. Still, thanks to its nostalgic superpowers and home video success over the last 30 years, the love for China O'Brien has stayed strong, with both films definitely becoming much better over time. Released as Blonde Heat in Denmark, China O'Brien 1 and 2 sees the reteaming of Cindy with fan favourite Richard Norton, here playing an old flame and ex-Special Forces soldier that vows to help her clean up the town. Of course, the pair had first starred together in Sammo Hung's fantastic Millionaire's Express, followed by the equally entertaining Magic Crystal, and low-budget Fight to Win, aka Eyes of the Dragon, going on after this to share the screen in films such as Rage and Honor in 1992, its sequel just a year later, and Lady Dragon to name but a few. Interestingly, Norton had also previously worked under director Robert Klaus prior to this on Force 5 and the cult classic Jim Kata, going on to star in his last directorial effort Ironheart in 1992 alongside the great Bolo Yeung. Joining the action partners in both films is the hugely talented and handsome Keith Cooke Hirabayashi, who stars as Dakota, the fast-kicking Native American that joins their fight for justice. After a small cameo in the colourful action-adventure film Picasso Trigger just a couple of years before, Cooke was given the chance to shine in the China O'Brien movies and most certainly did not disappoint. Interestingly, the reason behind Cooke's one-handed character was down to him breaking his hand just as the production started, resulting in a quick rewrite and an interesting twist to his performance. The same year, he would impress even more as a martial arts master in the awesome King of the Kickboxers alongside Lorraine Avedon and Billy Blanks, going on to appear my late friend Albert Pune's Heatseeker and alongside Robin Shaw in Beverly Hills Ninja. He would rejoin Shaw soon after again in both Mortal Kombat movies, playing Reptile in the first and Sub-Zero in the second. In the much darker and sleazier sequel, China and her deputies have to deal with a threat that sees her fighting for her life after a prize is put on her head. The culprit is a local big-time dealer whose latest drug deal went sour after the heroic trio put a stop to it. While it comes across even more basic and generic than the first, often playing like an extended episode of the A-Team, Walker Texas Ranger, or even Sammo Hung's Martial Law, China O'Brien 2 still entertains. The film continues in Utah, which in turn makes this sequel suffer from most of the same problems that the first film did, presenting that small town setting, dodgy middle-aged businessmen, and an aging villain that looks like a reject from the Village People who's about as threatening as a fart in a hurricane. It was hardly a groundbreaking martial arts epic, but fans still relished in the fight scenes on offer, which definitely felt a little more Hong Kong in flavour than before. The action is courtesy of British-born stuntman and actor Nigel Binns, who had worked as a stunt performer for Robert Klaus on Jackie Chan's Battle Creek Brawl and Force 5. After a stint as an assistant fight choreographer on The Karate Kid 2, Binns got his chance to shine on China O'Brien, as well as making an appearance as the character of Jonesy. Clearly inspired by the energy and action design of Hong Kong cinema, Binns delivers a healthy dose of neatly choreographed fight scenes throughout both movies, and while safety mats, boxes and edits soften the blows, one can't help but enjoy what's on offer. It's worth noting that fan favourite Billy Blanks pops up for a fight in the sequel, going toe-to-toe with Cooke in a warm-up to their re-teaming in the aforementioned King of the Kickboxers. Japanese actor and martial artist Toshishiro Obata, who shared the screen with the main stars in The Sword of Bushido and Rage and Honor, assists with the action as well as making an appearance in both films. Of course, Obata would also be recognised for his roles in Hollywood films such as Black Rain, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Rising Sun, Demolition Man, The Hunted, and the Golden Harvest produced hit films Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, among many others. Eagle-eyed viewers should also keep an eye out for a few uncredited Hong Kong stuntmen, including the ever-popular Kai Li, noticeable for his roles in many of Sammo Hung's movies, as well as having starred alongside Rothrock in Yes Madam, Millionaire's Express, Righting Wrongs, and Lady Reporter. While both films would have benefited hugely and became bona fide martial arts action classics had they been directed by Corey Yuen Kwai, who brought the best out of Miss Rothrock on many of the aforementioned Hong Kong hits, the China O'Brien movies are still a treat to watch today, with their exciting martial arts battles that easily wash over the campy, outdated problems that held Cindy back from being the star she really should have been.